Back then, when I was in school and also bullied in school and also addicted to Fortnite, I lied to my mother all the time and said that I'm sick, I have migraines, I can't go to school. And this worked. She let me stay at home all of the time because I said I was sick. My father kind of caught on to it and said I can't go. So one day in a week when I did not want to go, I actually had to go. The whole day I actually was playing Fortnite at home when I wasn't in school. And because over time, my parents were getting kind of worried that I'm not getting into school, that I'm sick all of the time. Even the teachers were giving us calls about this. They put up an appointment in the hospital to get me checked. And because I had migraines and also these stomach aches, they assumed, okay, maybe it's going on with the stomach right now. I walk into the hospital and feel kind of insecure. I see so many sick people left and right and think I'm not actually sick. I feel wrong in this place. To my parents, I was sick. So what ended up happening is that I got diagnosed with like a stomach ache, but they still wanted to get the reason for it. So they got me into a coma and put a drone down my throat into my stomach so they could see if there was something wrong with my intestines. There was not a thing. And so everyone was left wondering, okay, what does this poor boy actually have? I stayed 3 days in the hospital and it felt like this, honestly. Even when I'm telling the story, I feel kind of ashamed. I believe that a lot of young guys have all of these bad things coming together. Like, there's the bullying, for example, that happened to me. Then there's fake friends, bad friends, people you don't feel fulfilled by. Then there's all these modern addictions like fast food and video games. So what ends up happening is that if you have like this debuff, the negative experience in school, and you can stay at home and fulfill your addictions, feel good for the moment, then for you as this young guy, it seems kind of okay if I stay at home the whole day, then I can actually enjoy it instead of going to school and then getting moped by this one guy. It's not that easy. Honestly, I developed into the nerd that couldn't speak to people because I had stayed at home all of the time and did not go into school to level up my social skills. I could talk good with the teachers, but that was about it. I did not have any friends and I was standing alone in the school hallway. If you're in a similar position, first of all, I would advise you to do the hard thing. I think that sums up about all of what I'm going to talk about in this video. Do the hard thing instead of the seemingly easy. Do the hard thing instead of the seemingly easy thing. Because if you think about the easy thing right now, it would just be a short solution to your long-term pain. And if this long-term pain does not go away, then it's kind of lost. You've lost. So you could imagine you'd have to attack the root of the problem. And this is actually, for me, it was talking to people and getting my social life up. Because I felt alone and lonely the whole time, but I also didn't know how to speak to people, so I was kind of in this weird position where I did not want to go out, but I also didn't want to be at home. So honestly, doing the hard thing then, maybe going to school even when you get bullied, it feels like bullshit. I'm gonna be honest, there's nothing worse for you right now. So I would just give you my encouragement right now. Because there's not many things that you can do. You have to face the problem face on. And if you got that far into actually facing it and gotten out of your cowardness, I have so much respect for you. Especially with the internet, it's kind of hard to get lost in all of these videos and video games because they make us feel good in the moment. We call that instant gratification. we get some dopamine now, but there's actually bigger things to pursue. There's actually things that would make us happier, but we would need longer for that. And they feel kind of bad when you're doing them in the moment. So we kind of ignore those to and replace those with the social media. But now imagine if you, instead of scrolling on social media the whole time, you went to the gym and then get your dream physique in 3 years. This would mean the world to you. Or this would be a crazy goal to have achieved in your life, right? And I'm gonna be honest that the companies that are doing all of the video games and social media stuff, of course, they're trying to keep you on it. So it will always get worse, and especially in the future where we now get new tools and the digitalization presses even further. Do the hard thing when you feel like you want to stay at home and in your bed. Actually stand up and go for a walk. This is level one. Second is then go for a run. Third one is to go for a run in the city and then talk to people. Imagine a guy that just sits in his own misery and doesn't do anything about it and plays video games. Oh no, I feel so bad about playing video games the whole day, but I also do not want to go out because, well, I'm getting bullied. Now, he could stay home and degrade his social skills, but he could also go to school and get bullied there. Quite honestly, both of these in the beginning are quite bad. But then suddenly, the guy that has been missing in school for maybe 3 months then comes again. He gets the spike of attention, but it wears down over time. The bullying with that would also go because people have their own problems. They're not as out for you as you might think they are. So over time, their interest in you drops, and you can talk to more people and develop your social skills and skills in general. So it would be the smarter decision to go do the hard thing, even though it feels like it's such a pain. Even though it feels like the video games will give you enlightenment for the moment. But can it really go on forever like this if you just play video games the whole day? One day you will get responsibilities. Your parents will die, and then who keeps track of the house? Who buys you an apartment? Who actually gets you the dates for the haircuts? If you don't start now with building this responsibility and sense of self, that you build the confidence that you can go on into life, then it gets quite hard. And I think you have low odds of you'd have to work way harder in the future instead of doing a bit right now. This will be quite exaggerated. But would you rather be suicidal in 20 years or now suffer the pain of other people looking at you and laughing about you so that in 20 years you could actually have a good family? It's your choice. And I can completely understand why you would rather sit at home. But as I said, this is not the solution. And I think you can get out of this. Your parents will talk to you a lot, and they say that they are really proud of you. And you feel loved by them. What makes you think that the athlete you have in school is better than you? Maybe objectively, yeah, because he worked harder than you in the moment, but if you wanted, you could also go up to his level, right? And don't turn the words right now and think, okay, I would have to do this and that, and it will be so much work. You could also do the work. It's not that they are so special that they now achieved like the little six pack of the guys. You could get there too. I was the little chubby kid, and now I've got a six pack. So, what would be hindering you from actually getting up and facing your problems, feeling uncomfortable right now? The strongest souls are molded in pain. And if you go into that pain right now and face it, you could imagine how you would grow quicker. Through pain, you grow insanely fast. You can see these guys which had a heartbreak and now their girlfriend left them and they feel worthless. They will do 10 times more than they did before because now they have this sense of, okay, I have to work and I know I can get higher, so maybe I get her back. This is what they have in mind. What do you have in mind right now? Do you say, yeah, it will be quite a lot of work, or would you actually go out there and then achieve your dream life further down the line? Even though it takes hard work, but you could actually do the hard work for it. So don't kid yourself into being this kid which is forever trapped in this bad life, in a bad family. Because quite frankly, there's millions of people who have a worse life than you and would be willing to give up their life and switch places. You can do just fine and you can also do good. So please, right now, take a piece of paper and write down your limiting beliefs. What you actually think would happen if you did the worst thing you did right now. So, for example, for me it was going into school, then I see my bullies. The bullies bully me. I feel bad through that. And now you have to think about, okay, what is the solution? And how much does it actually impact me? And to what extent is my fear actually allowed? So, okay, the bullies bully me. I can't actually do anything about that, but I can change my mind frame in a way that I actually see them as these hopeless guys which actually try to pull others down so they can have another body which is kind of at the bottom of the bucket. They don't want to make you down in specific, but they've chosen you because you're quite the nice target right now, the easy one to upset, to get emotional. So what can you do against that? Okay, you change your mind frame in a way that they now are the hopeless, sad guys, and you have nothing to do with them. You're actually better than them objectively. A few years back, I also was at a kind of, it was academy for young guys, so there were multiple courses, and at the end of each course, people had to give a presentation about what they did. I was in art class, and we had to present our little books. We had art books, which we made ourselves. And we had to say like 3 sentences. And back in time, I was so scared that I I was getting a fever out of coincidence. But this fever faded and I felt really good before the presentation started. So I kind of say, okay, I could stay in bed right now, but then, okay, they don't have me and someone else had to take my text, or I could actually go there, do the hard thing. I laid in bed contemplating for a bit and then I actually went. And guess what? I was shaking like this in front of 200 people and it did not feel good. But after that, first of all, I've leveled up my social speaking skills or my open speaking skills. And then, second of all, I've built some confidence in myself that I can do this thing last minute. And I haven't let the others down. I'm still proud of that, that I did not let the others down because they were equally as nervous as me, as you might imagine. Finding reasons to do things are harder than finding reasons to not do things. For example, there's millions of excuses, right? If you wanted to go to the gym right now, you could come up with maybe 100 excuses if you thought about them. But to do the thing, there's actually one main point you actually care about. And then there's a few others which build it kind of, which give it a foundation, right? So for the gym, for example, it would be okay, I don't want to go, but I'm actually building my dream body over time. I'm actually leveling up my social skills because I have to talk to the guy at the counter. I will actually build up my confidence and discipline through this. And now you have all of these reasons which you can look at and think, okay, if I did this, then this would be actually very productive for me. And you can see why now you would want to do the hard thing instead of just keeping it out. Another big factor for me was the fear of regret in the future. Still, I do things that I think are stupid in the moment just because I might regret them in the future. So I might actually go talk to the girl that I know I have no chance with, but at least I did it. And maybe there would even be a spark and we could get on a date. And then imagine if I did not. I would be wondering on my deathbed, okay, what would have happened if I did this choice? So take as many choices as you can and take them in a way that kind of says yes. For example, we had a class tour, and I was the only boy in my class which actually wanted to go, and there were also three girls, but nobody else actually wanted to go to France. And now I was in France and built like solid 5 good stories through that. I've got more confident and got to speak with French people. We've had all of these great experiences there, and if I did not go there, I think life would have been quite boring if I stayed in school in that time. So take the big events, even if it's kind of voluntary. I've learned so much through doing the things that are kind of hidden or shied away from. For example, I've also worked in a restaurant for a few years, and in there I learned that this whole waiter stuff is such a shit work. I've learned that there's people who try to be bosses and chefs, but actually do not have the capacity to do it and have their own problems as well. I learned also how to speak to people properly, how to make people feel good. On the side, I earned some money, great. And through that, I could also do more things. Like, I could have one more boys' night a month because of my job. Imagine that if you had these events which you would enjoy in the moment as well, but then you'd get these bonuses stacked on top. Many guys fall into this trap where they just do what is needed. In class, you can see all the guys which do the bare minimum. They attend the class but don't raise their hands. They play Brawl Stars on the side so they can just be attentive but not actually to the material in class. And so they get through the school year, but they haven't actually taken away the bonuses. They could level up their confidence by speaking in front of their class. They could level up how spontaneous they can be and level up with bullshit excuses to why they didn't do their homework instead of doing it with ChatGPT and then learning nothing from it. I have the rap in my class that I always say things that are kind of weird and out of pocket, and nobody knows if they can take me serious in that moment or not. And I actually think it's funny. I'm having such a good time when the teacher is kind of unsure of if this was sarcasm or not. And I'm gonna be honest, sometimes through that I feel like the main character. Like all are on me, and I quite enjoy that for some time. Of course, not all of the time, but if I'm doing YouTube, I kind of want some eyes on me and want people to hear my opinions. I hope this video gets you to change your life around and actually turn it into something wholesome, a bit more sunny. Good luck until then, and stay safe.